Welcome, guys. Welcome to Mike Up and Misinformed. This will be our first podcast. We'll start off with NFL Week 7, and then we'll lead into the UFC. And then if we have other picks with other sports along the way, we'll throw them in and, chime in what we can to give you guys, our opinions on what we think our picks are, what the best value is going into the betting weekend.
Sounds good, man. Let's start off with the Thursday night football, the Steelers at the Bengals. How do you feel about that one?
Bam. Well, I mean, the Bengals have been having a tough time without Joe Burrows, obviously, right? So, I mean, I feel like everyone's going to be on the Steelers. They're 4-1. The Steelers look pretty good right now. It's interesting to see, how well they're doing at the moment. But I feel like last year they were having a tough time, and they're really pulling it off so far. Especially some of these other teams that were undefeated going into the last couple of weeks. And last week, I mean, there was so many upsets.
I feel like the Steelers, getting Aaron Rodgers, even though he's older, as long as he's healthy, I feel like they're going to just stay rolling this year because Mike Tomlin still finds a way to have a 500 or better season every
Yeah,
year. And with him having like a solid quarterback at the helm, I feel like the Steelers are a serious Super Bowl contender as long as Rodgers is
yeah,
healthy. In this matchup versus the Bengals, the spread is 4.5. I feel like I'm personally probably not going to bet this game, but I would take the Steelers money line on a
same.
parlay. One thing I do want to keep in mind is even though a lot of people are thinking the Steelers will cover the spread easily, and they might,
Yeah,
but especially with how banged up the Bengals are. But I do want to note that this is a division rivalry game, so they typically play out a little bit closer than what people
for
anticipate.
sure, dude. I agree. I think Bengals money line, if you wanted to sprinkle that in a parlay, is probably the best
I mean,
bet. Or
Steelers money
Steelers
line.
money line. I said Bengals, the Steelers money line. Sorry, I was trying to pull this up. Yeah, I think that's the best ticket right there. What
Yeah,
did
I
you
think
have them at? A
Steelers money
minus five
line
and
and
a
put
half
that
for
on
the
a parlay
spread?
for Sunday's games.
What
Do
was
what?
your spread? I have them at minus 5.5 now.
I just have ESPN up, and Steelers are -4.5. It might have went up to 5.5,
Crazy.
especially with the game being
Yeah.
tomorrow. There's probably money coming in as
All
we
right.
speak, so don't be surprised if the line moves a little
Yeah.
bit between now and then.
Love it, dude. Yeah. So both of us Steelers money line, good pick. And then the
Yep.
next game, it's in London. The Rams versus the Jags. It's in London, so they're having to travel. And the Rams just went from East Coast to West Coast. I heard they spent the night in the West Coast and then just went to London, so they didn't even get to go home.
Ooh, yeah, that they're gonna be talk about jet
Yeah,
lag.
exactly. Right, they're gonna be tired getting over there. I think anytime the teams travel, just like we saw the Chiefs in the week 1 when they were down in Brazil, I think people have a harder time with the traveling.
Yeah, I feel like this is really a 50-50 matchup. The Rams and Jags are both pretty evenly matched. The Rams came off a big win against the injured Ravens last week, and the Jaguars had lost to Seattle at Seattle, I believe. So I feel like the Jags are going to come out a little bit hungrier here. I feel like they're the better team, but the Rams are better coached. I feel like this is a coin flip game. Personally, I'm going to pass on this. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to pass on this London game, especially with the long flights out there. It's really a coin flip for
Yeah, and the
me.
Rams don't have Puka Noka. I think he's out this week as well.
Nakua's out this
Yeah.
week.
So
That's important to
yeah,
know. We'll see if Devonte Adams is playing, then they're probably going to Stafford will be force feeding him if he's healthy. If Nakua is
yeah,
out, so that's something to possibly do a player prop bet
yep.
on.
So I like Rams money line. If you're going to do anything with it, stay away from the points, or maybe even buy the points down a little bit and give you that edge. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, same. I would stay away. I wouldn't get too crazy. And
Cool.
then next we have the Eagles versus the Vikings, which is kind of crazy to see the Eagles, kind of get dominated last week a little bit, and then coming in with the short. I have them at -2.5 odds.
Yeah, you know what? I just is bad as the Eagles' offense has looked recently. I feel like that probably lit a fire under their butt, and I think they're going to come out with a vengeance and take out the Vikings this week. It might play out pretty close, but I feel pretty comfortable taking the Eagles on the money
Yeah,
line
that's
here.
what I
I
choose.
just don't trust the Vikings and their quarterback
Yeah, the
situation.
Vikings
With
offense.
Wentz playing lately, I don't trust Wentz at all. And even if JJ McCarthy is playing, I don't think they can compete with the Eagles. So I feel um, pretty good about taking the Eagles on the
Yeah, I
money
love
line
the
here.
Eagles money line at -130. That's good odds for them for sure. And I think the Vikings defense is good, but the Vikings offense has not been so hot, like you said.
Yeah, and I feel like Saquon, he had a pretty quiet week last week. I think he goes off this
Love
week
it.
against the
Yeah, and
Vikings.
I bought him to break 2,000 yards for the season too. So I'm hoping he gets a couple of good more games going.
Hopefully, he gets us like a
Yeah,
200-yard game plus.
exactly,
We'll see.
exactly. All right, so again, we're on the same page there. Next is the what Patriots and Titans.
Yeah, we can do that
I
one.
guess I jumped one or two, right?
You're good. You're
Yeah.
good. I mean, these are all 10 o'clock games, so we're good.
All right, so Patriots. I mean, the Patriots are first in the AFC East. Uh,
Dude, they're rolling
yeah,
right now. The Pats are absolutely rolling. Ever since they got Mike Vrabel as their head coach, I thought he did a fantastic job at Tennessee. I don't know how
they let me go.
he ever got let go, but man, he's like the perfect coach for the Patriots. And the Titans are really struggling with Cam Ward as their rookie quarterback right now. They just have like an identity crisis, in my opinion. The spread is 6.5. I won't be surprised if the Patriots cover that spread. I think if you want to be safe, slam the money line. I'd be absolutely shocked if the Patriots lose this game, but it might even be worth it to take the spread too, with it being 6.5. I don't see why the Patriots wouldn't win by more than a touchdown, but again, if you want to be safe, I feel like it's pretty safe to say it's a lock to take the Patriots on the money
Yeah, I
line.
agree, dude, for sure. I think they cover. Again, you could even buy it down if you wanted to go to like -3 or -5 or something. But I think the Patriots money line in a parlay is solid pick for sure. Um,
Be a sexy teaser play too if you want to put on a teaser, so that way you can get points up on the other teams and then get the Patriots down to basically on a pick 'em
you know, I
price.
haven't done one teaser this year. I don't know why, but every fucking time last year I did a teaser, one of them would mess up. Whether it was the over under or, and it's like you buy it down to get the better chance, but somebody would still fuck it up for me every time.
I love teasers. I just don't think they're as attractive because they don't pay out as
Yeah.
much. And if I'm gonna bet, I like being pretty
Yeah.
risky.
Yeah.
I like shooting
Every
for the
once in a while,
moon.
Lunch Money loves his risk. He loves his value on big time fucking parlays for sure. This guy will bet 20 to
One
win
thing I
four
like
grand
doing,
every
and maybe we
time.
can get into it, maybe we can get into it later in the episodes, but I like doing marginal bets where you take teams to win by like 1 to 6 point win margin or 7 to 12, but it's very specific. It does pay out really well, but it's a very specific type of betting. And you can even parlay those depending on your sports book too, but we can get into that another
Well,
time. That's
I'm going to tell
it's
everyone right
it's
now that
very
I know
risky.
for a fact you hit that when we were at the U of A game in Vegas. You bought it
Mm.
specific, and they freaking hit it on the U of A basketball game.
Yeah, when it hits,
Yeah,
it's the best feeling in the world, but it doesn't hit very
yeah.
often.
Again, that's so specific, like you said.
More risk, more reward. All right, what do we got for the next game?
My next one is the Jets. Who the fuck are they playing? Because my handwriting's terrible.
The Jets are at home versus the
The
Panthers. The
Panthers.
line is the Panthers are -1.5. They're slightly favored on the road. The Jets have not won a game yet this
Yeah,
year. They're 0-6. Panthers are 3-3. Panthers had a crazy comeback last week,
agreed.
and I think they were 17 down and came back and had won the game. Um, this is a pass for me. I feel like the Panthers have more momentum, but the Jets are so due to get a
That's
win. They're so due. They're at
100%.
home.
I think if the Jets are going to win, this is their best opportunity to win a game this year. Otherwise, I mean, if they lose this, they're not looking good. They better start making some change ups for sure.
And the Panthers being 3-3, I feel like that's a really good record for them. And I wouldn't be. It would make sense after this week for them to go 3-4 and the Jets be one and
Yeah,
six.
exactly.
So I feel like if you're gonna bet this game, take the Jets. But it's really a trash game, and I would recommend staying away.
Yeah,
But if you can't help yourself, take the
yeah. I think
Jets.
the Panthers have a good rush game, but I think the Jets need the win here. I think they're going to come out. They're going to play as hard as they can, and this is going to be the best version of the Jets we've seen all year.
There's a lot of jobs on the hot seat, especially their head coach.
Has to
So
be.
it's make or break right now for
Has to
them.
be. All right, so the next one is the Dolphins. I feel like I hate to say it, but it's the same thing, and I actually like the Dolphins. That's my team in general, but I feel like same thing. They've been having so much trouble and so much hiccups this year that I'm surprised they haven't let go of the general manager or the fucking head coach already, just because of the way they've been playing the last 2 years.
Yeah, 100%. So the Dolphins have all the locker room drama right now. They're them and the Dolphins and Browns are both 1-5. Um, I think I would have to take the Dolphins in this matchup though because the Browns quarterback situation's too funky
Yeah,
for me. They can't get anything going on offense, and with Dylan Gabriel, and then the media's talking about why Shador should be starting right now, and the bottom line is the Browns just aren't winning games, and neither are the Dolphins. But
yeah,
I feel like the Dolphins' offense is so much more
yeah.
explosive right now than the
And the Dolphins have
Browns.
been close. They've
So
had a couple of bad losses, but they've been close. And again, obviously, with their
they played the Bills
yeah,
really well till they beat
yeah,
themselves. And I mean the Bills are Super Bowl contenders. So I mean, I'm not gonna bet this game, but I feel like the Dolphins, there's no reason they shouldn't win this game unless they were to beat
yeah.
themselves.
I picked the Dolphins too. I prefer them. I mean, I hate to say, I think it's the battle of the terrible two teams right now, but again, it's kind of the same idea. They both need the win. They both need to get after it. But I think the Dolphins have the personnel and can get it done.
Only way Browns would win is if Myles Garrett gets like 3 sacks and just wreaks havoc all game and it's like a nasty defensive game. But I just don't see that
Yeah, and
happening.
I hate to say it, but Tua is not a great quarterback. I know people love him and
Yeah.
love to be all over him. I feel like he's not that like smart when he's playing on the field. And I mean that fool literally will give
He's
himself a
lost the locker
concussion.
room too, bro. I don't think the players ride for him anymore in the locker room. And I would really like to see their quarterback from Texas drafted Quinn Ewers. I'd love to see him play. I think that he would make an immediate impact on
Well,
that
maybe
team.
we'll see some change ups here in the next week or two if they end up, making the lose.
Thanks.
Now let me go back. So it's the Saints and the Bears.
Saints and
Yep.
Bears. Okay, so the Saints are at the Bears. Saints are 1-5. Bears are 3-2. Spreads 4.5. Whew. I think the Bears are just a straight up better team. The Saints also are having an identity crisis. Um, I think they're happy with their quarterback situation, but Rattler is just he's going to need more time to develop. Whereas like Caleb Williams is more, a more of a developed quarterback, even though
He's
he's
still young.
he's in his second
Yeah.
year. Even though he's in his second year, I just think between Williams being a much better quarterback and their coach Ben Johnson they got from the Lions is one of the best
Yeah.
coaches in the league. I feel like they're going to build on that record, and I think they're going to beat the Saints
I
this week.
agree.
Spreads 4.5. I'd just take Bears money line on a
Yeah.
parlay. And I know it's our first episode, so I'm gonna give out safer picks, but maybe as we go along in these episodes I'll be a little bit more risky. But I feel pretty safe taking the
Yeah,
Bears here,
I mean,
money
I
line.
agree. Normally, I'm the one making the safer bets. Lunch Money goes crazy. He's always making wild parlays. So again, for him to say he's staying, reformed here is pretty good and honest. Again, I think Bears.
May-
I like Caleb Williams a lot. I think he has fun out there. I mean, you see him smiling. He's having a good time. Even if they're not winning, he's still, keeping the team morale up, and I like that a lot. Sometimes you see these
The
guys get
offense is
upset.
explosive too, and they want to be, bro.
The
And you know what we could do when we finish talking about the NFL slate here, and we get to the last game, we could both give out a parlay, and whatever the parlay will be a good plus money something.
oh yeah,
So we'll
for
each give
sure.
out a parlay, and then next week we can recap it and see if it wins
I
or
can do
not.
that, dude. I'm down. Yeah, I mean, I think well, I like the defensive wise on the Bears. They have the second most interceptions, and I mean, they look good against Washington last week too.
And Washington's when Jane Daniels is playing for Washington, which he did
Yeah,
last week, they're a dangerous team. So I like the Bears' momentum going forward. I don't see why they
yeah, I
lose.
agree. All right, this is one of those crazy ones: Raiders versus the Chiefs.
Woo, this is my team right here. I love me some Kansas City Chiefs. I'm born outside of Wichita, Kansas, so as a kid, my dad would drive me 3 hours up to Kansas City to watch Chiefs games, and
But now my man
it's so
has
cool
tickets
how
for
good
the
they are.
Raiders, and he lives in Vegas. So these are like his two teams.
It's crazy too. I had sold my license a couple years ago. I needed money at the time, and I deeply regret selling my license to the season tickets. But I'm sure that the value would have just kept going up.
Yeah, especially now. Well, again,
But yeah, I did feel like a hypocrite owning season tickets for the Raiders, right? So the spread is huge. It's 12.5. I'm gonna say the Raiders cover that spread. To be honest with you, it's still a division
It is a
rivalry
divisional
game.
game.
It's division games always play out closer than what people anticipate. Um, if I was to do like a marginal bet, I would take the Chiefs 1-6 and 7-12. It's both going to get you probably plus 300 or higher range. So
No, that's good.
if you put two of those in, you're still getting plus
Yeah.
money on the Chiefs to win. I just don't think they cover the
No,
spread.
because they
So
really haven't.
that's my prediction. Highly doubt Chiefs lose, but just don't cover the spread. I like the Chiefs on a marginal 1-6 and seven to
Yeah,
twelve.
I totally agree. I think it depends on which version of the Chiefs we see show up, you know? And then I think with all
Especially with how they looked last week, bro. Like they beat the crap out of the
the second
Lions,
half, they
and
really turned it up.
the Lions were
Yeah.
hot, bro.
Yeah, they really turned it up the second half. I feel like Kelsey actually was starting to play again. I feel like he was doing really well. And then he got slammed on his head.
The Chiefs also have Rashi Rice, who's been out all year. He'll be available this game, and so they're gonna have a nasty trio of receivers right now with Worthy, Rice, and Hollywood
Love
Brown.
it.
So look out for the Chiefs going forward, man. They're gonna be
Yeah. Yep,
dangerous.
I agree. I like the Chiefs again. Maybe buy down the points or take a money line in a big parlay, but at minus 720, there's not necessarily a lot of value there. But
Yeah, you gotta be pretty creative with that. But if I had to take straight up spread bet, I'd take Raiders plus 12 and a
love
half.
it. All right, so Colts versus the Chargers.
All right. Who, dude, who's a hotter team than the Colts this
Yeah,
year?
thank you.
Oh my gosh.
The
And
Colts are plus
and
two and a
talking
half.
about a team,
You
do
can get the
what?
Colts at plus 2.5.
I
The Chargers have been
I don't
all
know
over
what to
the
do here,
place. They
Mad Dog.
barely,
I really don't know what to
yeah,
do. The Colts got all the momentum
for
right now,
sure.
but I feel like the Chargers are going to cool them off. Um, the Colts are probably, I think it's fair to say they're the biggest surprise this year. But with the Chargers 4-2, Colts 5-1, it looks like it's at LA. I think, and I know that doesn't make a big
Yeah.
difference. LA fans are not loyal and diehard fans, but
Well, you got two
I like the
teams
Chargers
playing.
in this spot.
Yeah, I'm
I,
gonna flip. I'm gonna go with the Colts. I think you can get them at plus 2.5 or plus money. I think that's a good value bet on them. I mean the Chargers barely beat the Dolphins even. I feel like it depends on which version of the Chargers really show up and if they come out playing hard. Again, like you said, the Colts are traveling, obviously going east, but or west. I feel like it's always harder when west teams go east with the time change and the weather difference than vice versa, you know?
I don't hate that. If you're taking the Colts, I mean, let's say you buy 2 points and get them up to 3.5, or whatever the spread is. If it's 2.5, take it up to 4.5. I don't mind that because I don't see it would make sense by them losing by a field
Yeah,
goal. But if you want to get cute with it, I really like the Chargers to win in a close one. I would take Chargers one to
love it.
six.
All right, so this one, the Giants versus the Broncos. I think the Giants are really the team that no one expected to do well after the previous few seasons.
Yeah, and I mean, even though they have a 2-4 record right now, they finally found their quarterback with
Yes,
Jackson Dart.
yes,
He's the best quarterback in the draft class,
and
and
Stepo.
they just beat the Eagles,
Yep,
and I just feel like they got their swagger right now.
yeah,
They got Scatabo at
yeah.
running back. The two-headed monster of Scatabo and Dart at the
I
realm.
think
I like the swagger they have. The Broncos are really well coached with um oh my gosh, Sean. I'm sorry.
I'm terrible, bro.
He's the coach for the New Orleans Saints, but he's their coach right now. It's blank in my mind right now. But I like Sean Payton. My bad, Sean Payton. I like the Broncos. I think they're a lot better coached than the Giants, but that spread's big, bro. 7.5. I like the Giants on the spread
Love
here. I
it.
think Broncos win this game, but don't be surprised if the Giants win. I feel pretty comfortable taking the Giants plus seven and a
Yeah,
half, man.
I'm gonna take them plus 7, 7.5, whatever your book is, 100%. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it could be a low scoring game. I think it could be going back and forth a little bit. But again, like you said, with Scatabo and Dart at the realm, I think the energy's there. I think the team's really hyped up right now, and I think they come in and start using the momentum in their favor.
it's hard to game plan for Dart as well because he is a running quarterback,
Yeah,
and with him being a rookie, it's really hard to game plan for
yeah.
him.
There's not a
And
lot of
so it's
footage.
hard to
People don't know
account for
what to
him,
expect.
especially as a runner as well.
Agreed, dude.
So yeah, I like the game to be closer than that 7.5, 100%. Wouldn't be surprised if Giants win, but I think just taking Giants in the spread's pretty safe here. If Broncos win, it's
What is
close.
the Giants' money line? Plus
Money
two seventy
line,
five.
they are probably. I just have the spreads
Yeah,
here.
you're good. I have it at plus 275.
But yeah, they're probably plus high to
Yeah,
something. So I mean, if you want to take a stab at like a big underdog that has some value, I don't hate
yeah,
that.
I love it. All right, the Packers versus the Cardinals.
Oh, the Cardinals. I feel like they've had a bunch of issues. You know, Kyler had gotten hurt the other week. I don't know if he's playing or not this week. I'm not really sure what his injury status
Yeah,
is,
it's
but the
questionable.
Cardinals are in one of those situations. It's not as hostile as the Jets, but they're in a
Similar.
situation where they're gonna have to make a lot of changes within the organization, kind of like with the Dolphins as
Yeah,
well.
same thing.
Whereas the Packers have their identity and they're one of the contenders in the NFC. So I don't see why the Packers lose this game. I really don't. The spread's six and a
Yep.
half. I think playing money line's pretty safe bet here. If Arizona wins, I'm going to be honest. I think I'll be pretty shocked.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if the Cardinals won. And I live in Arizona, and that it's again the kind of the home team. But I feel like Kyle Murray is not. He's just not really performed up to the level that his was expected at all at any time.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better in
Agreed,
Arizona.
dude. Yep. Packers money line in a parlay. Again, you could take it at the minus 6.5. I think that's safe. I think they win by a touchdown easy.
Cool.
Commanders and Cowboys. This is going to be kind of a crazy game. I think these two teams are going to be coming out hard at each other, dude. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. I see it going back and forth. The Cowboys are finally gaining momentum, but I feel like, again, it depends on which version of the Cowboys show up.
Ooh, this is a tough one, bro. It's a division rivalry game. They're going to play each other close. I think it's a coin flip game, to be honest with you. I think um, I wouldn't bet this game, but if I was, whatever team you're taking, I would take them between 1 and 6 points because I think it's going to
Yeah.
finish, within 6 points. I think whoever wins by like a field goal. It's going to be a really close game. I do think with Washington losing in a close game against the
Yeah.
Bears last week, that kind of lit a fire under their butt. So I kind of lean Washington, but I like I said, division rivalry. It looks like it's at Dallas. I would just take whichever team you like. Take them one to
Yeah,
six.
I agree. I think it should be a close game. I mean, I think, like you said, the Commanders are going to have to step it up, coming off their loss and really show their value. I think Jaden Daniels coming back with his knee, in a brace. Now he's got a little bit more game time. I think he's feeling a little bit more confident in himself again. And I think you'll see kind of the Washington we knew earlier.
I'd be curious to see what his props are. I think he definitely is going to have a good
Yeah.
game.
Now the over under is 54.5 already. Like it's already bought way up like crazy. I mean,
Yeah, that's a high over
that's
under,
a high
bro.
over under. I think it is going to be a high scoring game, but again, I'm going to stay away. I'm not going to bet any part of that game. It'll be entertaining to watch, but I'm going to stay away.
Yeah, I hate to be boring when it comes to over unders, but I just don't play them, man. In any sport, I'm not an over under guy. I do it a little bit for the UFC fights when we get into those. I don't mind
Yeah.
over unders for that, but with football and basketball, baseball, I just can't do it. I take the teams to win.
Yep. I love it, dude. All right. Falcons and 49ers.
Sunday night football,
Yeah.
baby. The Falcons just came off a huge win, beating the Buffalo Bills the other day. And the Niners, as banged up as they've been all season long, they have a 4-2 record, which is super
Yeah.
impressive and says how good of a job Kyle Shanahan's done there. Um, I do want to note Fred Warner just got hurt last game for the Niners. He's arguably their best defensive player. Just another injury to the list for the
Yeah.
Niners.
Unfortunately.
I like the Falcons here. I think it's going to be a pretty close game. Falcons are plus 2.5. Personally, I would buy 1 point, get the Falcons at plus 3.5. If they lose, I don't think it's by more than a field goal, but I'm leaning ATL to win this game.
Yeah, I didn't choose. I'm gonna stay away from this game. I think, like you said, it's gonna be a coin flip. It's gonna kind of be back and forth. The 49ers have been doing well, even with the injuries. I think Kittle might be back this game, but they're just riddled with injuries, unfortunately. So
Yeah, if the Niners win again this week, man, give Shanahan Coach of the Year so far. But I'm leaning ATL, and I'm surprised it's not a pick 'em with the Niners being 2.5 point favorites. That's pretty surprising to me personally. So best bet here is Falcons plus 3.5 by a
love
point.
it. You heard it from Lunch Money. All right, so Monday night, I think we got two Monday night games, right? We got Buccaneers and Lions
Yes,
and the
sir.
Texans and Seahawks. So Buccaneers and Lions first, dude. I think Mayfield has been looking really good this year. I feel like he's finally been getting it together. Now, a little side note, I just moved kind of in the last year or so, but my neighbors next to me, their daughter married Baker Mayfield's brother. So literally all I would hear for like 2 years straight was Mayfield, Mayfield, Mayfield. Every time I take the trash out, that fool would come out just to talk to me. I swear to God, dude.
You had Baker in your dreams from how much your neighbor's
It
talking
was
about him.
rough, bro. And he wasn't doing that great. Now this year he's really turned it up. I think he's showing his experience and having some more game time. And I think a lot of times when these guys come from college to the NFL, the game is faster, right? When you're in college, you're playing a bunch of 20-year-olds around the same age. Then you move up and all of a sudden these guys are like 30, 33, 35, and they got some man strength and man speed, and they're just not used to that, the fastness of the game quite yet when they first come up.
I feel like, um, especially in Baker's case, a lot of times with players, it's kind of like with Sam Darnold's case too. Sometimes it's just the wrong organization, the wrong situation. It's like even when as adults, when we're trying to find like the right work environment to
For sure.
thrive in, like sometimes just the right situation can really help a human thrive. And I feel like Baker found a thriving situation with Tampa Bay, and he's excelled at quarterback there. And for me personally, um, I feel like he's the MVP front runner right
I
now.
agree.
If we're giving the MVP award through 6 weeks of football, I would give it to Baker
Yeah.
right now. And as good as Mahomes is playing as well, I think Baker's been playing tremendous. And regarding this matchup, the Lions are -5.5. I don't know how to feel about that spread,
Yeah.
but the Bucks are 5-1. Lions are 4-2. Lions are pissed off they lost to Kansas
Yeah.
City
They're
last week,
upset.
and they got dogged out by
Yeah.
KC. I like the Lions a lot here in this
Yeah.
spot, bro. I feel like Lions money
Yeah.
line. I feel super confident putting that, and then plus with it being Monday Night Football, I'm thinking about taking it as like the tail end piece of a parlay. So that way, if my other legs, which most of the time don't hit, but if the other legs come through and I can get down to the Lions with the
You can
last
at least
leg,
answer.
I think that's a really easy
Yeah.
hedge because you're going to get the Bucks at like plus 150, plus 170 at least come Monday Night Football.
Yep.
So I really like the Lions money line
Yeah, I
here.
agree. I think the Lions need the bounce back from home. And I think quarterback wise, in a sense, like you said, Mahomes and Mayfield kind of have a similar attributes. So I think they're going to come back and play very similar. And if the Lions play like they did the first half against the Chiefs, I think it will be really good. But it just depends on if they lose their morale. I think the Lions started to feel defeated early in that game and kind of let up on themselves, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. I just the Bucks are 5-1 right now. There's a couple games where they just barely got
Yeah,
by, and when the Lions are on, man,
yeah,
they're on.
yeah,
And I like a team like the Lions, who I believe is a Super Bowl
yeah. I have
contender.
them.
I like them coming off a loss to just come out there. There's no way they don't come out with more
Yeah,
fire than the Buccaneers this
yeah.
game. This is a lot more needed win for
And they're
them.
at home.
Just for their own sanity and their swagger and their confidence. They need
Yeah.
this.
All right, Texans and Seahawks.
Trash game, bro. To
Yeah,
be honest with you, this is I feel like I've had an opinion on most of these games, but I really don't here. The Seahawks are a better team, but as good as I was talking about Sam Darnold being in a better and right situation for him, especially and he had a good situation in Minnesota too. I was kind of referring to his Jets
so-
venture
yeah.
through the Jets, but um, I don't see the Seahawks losing unless Darnold throws like three picks.
Yeah, I mean, I think Seahawks money line is the safest bet. I mean, I think their defense is pretty strong. The Texans are coming off of a bye week, so they should be feeling pretty healthy and ready to go. And I can't think who it is, but I know their wide receiver has the like rushing yards or the receiving yards for the league right now. Jason Smith something.
Oh wow, I didn't
Yeah,
know
he's
that.
number one for
Interesting.
receiving yards, which is kind of crazy. But again, I feel like either stay away or bet the Seahawks, money line, safe bet, then of the parlay. Again, you could hedge them if need to be.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about the Monday night games is if you, and that's some betting advice I have that I personally like to do, especially with NFL, is I like betting on games spread out. So if I bet if I have a parlay and I have a 10 o'clock game bet, and we're West Coast, so
Yeah,
if I have a 10 a.m. game bet, I'll put on the second leg. If I let's say 3 legs, second leg I'll do a 1 o'clock game, and then I'll either do Sunday night football or a Monday night game spread
yeah,
out. Whereas let's say if you do 3 games and they're all 10 a.m. games, there's really no way you can hedge
no, yeah,
whatsoever.
agreed.
So I like, especially the UFC fights too, and that's standard. They're going to be spread out
Yeah,
regardless. But that's something I always try to keep in mind when I'm doing a parlay is not betting games that are playing at the same time because there's no way you could hedge it even if the legs are going accordingly.
100%, you'd agreed. Yeah, yeah. I think depending on the sport and depending on the hours, you have to change your betting style a little bit. Like you said with UFC, one fight at a time. So I mean, you can change your style a little bit versus the NFL where there's like 5, 6 games going on all at once. You really don't want to have all action on one parlay necessarily stacked up on, for at the same 10 o'clock hour, let's say.
A lot of people do that too, man. And if at the end of the day, it's
Yeah,
gambling,
yeah,
and your chances of winning are not high.
yeah.
The book in casino always wins, but that's some advice I have, and I know you follow that as well because it's that and that way it gives you it when they're spread out too. It's like okay, if the first leg hits, you're like, oh, now I'm ready for that
Yeah.
1 o'clock game. Whereas if you bet everything at 10 a.m. and you lose, you're gonna end up not being interested the rest of the day, or you're probably going to
You're
be
chasing,
chasing.
bro. You're chasing. You already know. Everyone watching this is
Yeah,
degenerate as hell. No,
already.
everyone's gonna be chasing. Nobody gives up, dude. Nobody
Facts,
gives
bro.
up.
All right, so here's a nasty parlay I have. So I'm gonna buy 2 points. Take the Raiders at plus 14.5 first leg. Okay, and then I'm gonna go down, and that's a 10 a.m. game. And then I'm gonna go down, and I'm gonna take the Giants plus 7.5. So that's just the
Yep, love
spread.
it.
Take Giants at 7.5. And then I'm going to go down. I'm going to take the Falcons by 1 point, get them at plus 3.5. That's leg three. And then I'm going to take Lions money line on Monday night. I'm willing to bet that probably pays plus 300.
I probably could have done it real quick, but let's see, dude.
That's a four
Yeah,
legger.
that's legit right now. So let me throw one more in here, and then I'll tell you what it is.
What do you like here?
So if I was doing a four-legger, I would do this, and it's at plus 388. So Steelers money line. You
Okay, Thursday
yep, you
down.
got the Giants at +7, like you said. I think again the Patriots, and I'm gonna lean towards the Bears, dude. Money line all the way across, and then Giants +7, and that's a plus 383.
I like that. That's not bad, man. We should put those in. Put each of those in after the show. Text me what yours was, and I'll text you mine was just because I don't have it written down. But we'll both we should play them both and see if they both hit, and if at least one of them hits, we still came out profitable.
Oh
So
yeah,
that'd be
for
fun to
sure,
do.
dude, for sure. I'll leave this up right now. Yep, and then all right, let's switch over, and we'll start.